Can you please call the roll?
Commissioners Gershenson? Here. Angel?
Here.
Hoffman?
Over here, present.
Jackson? Kuchenberger?
Here.
Howell? Here. Kuhn?
Here.
Long? Here. Lubes? Here. Markham? Here. McGilvray?
Here.
Middleton?
Here.
Miller?
Here.
Nelson? Here. Powell?
Here.
Quarles?
Here.
Fizz?
Here.
Cobb?
Here.
Vipert?
I'm here.
Woodward?
Here.
Zach? Here. And did Jackson get on yet? No? Okay. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. They'll bring us to the invocation being led by the Honorable Gary McGilvray, be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and we can look behind Commissioner Whiteford for a flag. Commissioner McGilvray.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We can bow our heads, dear Lord. In this time of the COVID virus, please watch over all people to make them safe. We also ask you to watch over our first responders, medical workers, and essential workers that must report to work. Please guide everyone to watch over all people so that we can help out those ones in need. We ask that you guide this board tonight to make the decisions that represent all people of Oakland County. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
America.
The Republic.
to the republic that stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner McGilvray, for that. They'll bring us to communications. Madam Clerk, are there any communications? Excuse me, no. Approval of the agenda first. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Moved by Commissioner Long, seconded by Commissioner Lubes. Any discussion on the agenda? All in favor of the agenda, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the agenda is approved unanimously. It brings us to communications.
Minutes?
Madam
Did you want to
Clerk.
approve minutes?
I did not have I don't have minutes on this. Were minutes sent around? Do people have the minutes from the
No.
last meeting? Okay, so we'll hold on the minutes. We'll do the minutes at the next meeting.
Okay. Sorry.
But thank you.
Okay.
Communications, yes, Madam Clerk.
Yes. This evening I have two. The first is dated July 23rd, 2020 to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Ladies and gentlemen, please be advised I have created a special committee for the purpose of conducting a review of all tax foreclosure policies and procedures in the Treasurer's Office, including oversight of the county's delinquent tax revolving fund, and to evaluate measures and ensure safeguards are in place. I am appointing the following individuals to the special committee to investigate the county treasurer's management of property tax foreclosures. Commissioner David Woodward or designee, Commissioner Helene Zach, Commissioner Mike Gingell or designee. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chairman, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. And the second communication also dated July 23rd, 2020 to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Ladies and gentlemen, please accept this letter as notification that I have exercised the authority granted under the board rules, allowing the chairperson of the board, for the purposes of meeting a submission deadline, shall be granted authority to approve grant applications in excess of $250,000. The Oakland County Economic Development and Community Affairs Community and Home Improvement Division has prepared a fiscal year 2020 EDA CARES Act Recovery Assistance Grant Program application on behalf of Oakland County in the amount of $6,500,000. There are no submission deadlines with the U.S. Economic Development Administration. Applications will be accepted on an ongoing basis until the publication of a new Public Works and Economic Adjustment Assistance, PWEAA, NOFO, cancellation of this PWEAA, moving NOFO, where all available funds have been funded. EDA intends to review applications within 60 days of receipt. Due to the changes in the board's grant submission process and the board calendar, it was not possible for the department to submit the application for consideration in accordance with our normal procedures. The application was reviewed by all appropriate county departments. I've authorized the submission of this grant application. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chairman, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. That's it.
Thank you. It's a mouthful. Thank you,
It was a
Madam
mouthful.
Clerk. Is there a motion to receive and file the communications? Moved by Commissioner Quarles, seconded by Commissioner Lutz. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Let the reflect. Is that a nay?
Yes.
Okay. Then the motion, but I think an overwhelming majority said aye. The motion carries. It moves us on to, we have a public hearing that I'm going to open up. This is as part of our local road improvement committee. We need, we've got a number of local road improvement grants. Per statute, we have to have a public hearing. So at 5:15, I'm going to declare the public hearing for the local road improvement program special committee open. And is there anyone, and Andrea, this is before public comment for the regular board meeting, is there anyone from the public that through email communication or on the line wishes to address the board on the local road improvement program special committee public hearing?
There are currently no people on the public comment line that are on the call, and there are no online submissions for this subject.
All right, thank you, Andrea. I will declare public hearing closed, and that will move us to, well, it moves us to public comment broadly. So I'll open public comment again. Andrea, I'm assuming the same is still the case since it happened literally 2 seconds ago, but Andrea, is there anyone from the public on the line or any email submissions for the regular agenda of the board?
There are no callers that have joined since, and there is only one submission that I can read to you now. It's from Alexandra Mills. She writes, appealing to Judge Mary Ellen Brennan, advocating for Grace's release should be first and foremost priority. Grace and her mother need the support necessary to remove her from Children's Village, which goes against the educational mandates set by the governor during the pandemic. We also need to know what the plan is to ensure that such instances never happen to Black and Brown students, particularly those that fall under the guise of an IEP. And that's the end of the public comment submissions.
Chair, you're muted.
Sorry, I apologize. Thank you, Andrea, for reading that on behalf of the public. We'll receive that. And seeing no other further public comment, we will declare public comment closed. And that will bring us to reports of standing committees. The first up, we have the consent agenda. Is there a motion for the consent agenda? Moved by Commissioner Gingell, seconded by Commissioner Zack. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Commissioner Tao.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I do not want this removed from the consent agenda. It's the issue on drinking fountains. But I do know that people are looking into whether or not we can supply them to all schools as opposed to just public schools. But so I am assured, I'm sure with you, if that is the case, that then we will expand the funding to expend those dollars. Okay.
Correct.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
Commissioner Taub's
Yes.
point, Corporation Counsel is reviewing some recent Supreme Court decisions. When we did this program last term, there was a Corporation Counsel opinion. It restricts our ability to put these, use these dollars in private school facilities. There has been some Supreme Court action. The Corporation Council will review that, and to the extent that we can help support Protect All Kids, we intend to use these dollars to do so. So thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Top. I'm just wanting to check here on one of the agenda items. I think we're good. Yes, we are. Yes, we are good. Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the consent agenda.
On the consent agenda, Commissioners Ginjal,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Yeah, now my camera doesn't turn back on. Oh, sorry.
Jackson. Did Jackson join us?
Yes.
There you are. Thank you, Commissioner. Kokendorfer,
Yes.
Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
McGilvery,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Powell, Commissioner
Yes.
Powell? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Quarles,
Yes.
Biz,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Vipert,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Kirshenson.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21
Great. Thank you. Sufficient number voted in the affirmative. The consent agenda is adopted. That brings us on to the regular agenda. Under Finance and Infrastructure Committee, there is nothing. That was taken on the consent agenda. Under Health, Safety, and Human Services, there is nothing. That was taken care of under the consent agenda. That brings us to the Pandemic Response and Economic Recovery Committee. We have 2 items here. I will call on Commissioner Gershenson, and I believe we have some amendments for both, 2 for one, and I think just 1 for the other. So Commissioner Gershenson.
So, Mr. Chair, should we take the amendments first?
Well, we'll take item D first, and then we'll
Okay, item
bring
D. Item D is to authorize grant funding to implement the Sarah Touchless Communication System to protect healthcare providers and patients at McLaren Oakland facility.
Commissioner Gershenson moves the miscellaneous resolution 20258, seconded by Commissioner Lubes. Staff, can you remind me, do we need to accept a report? This is a committee. We do?
Yes.
Okay, so Commissioner Gershenson moves the report. Commissioner Lubes second to accept the report from the committee. All in favor of accepting the report, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the budget amendment, the report has been received unanimously, and now Commissioner Gershenson moves the resolution, seconded by Commissioner Lubes. And I believe that there's a budget amendment that's that we need to adopt, and so I believe it's in our packet. Commissioner, Mr. Ward, can you tell us what page it's on? Is it right after?
It
Williams.
is. Let me just,
Could we put it on the screen so we can see it?
13 on mine. 213 on mine.
Okay, so on page 213, could someone move the budget amendment? Moved by Commissioner Gershenson, seconded by Commissioner Lubes. Any discussion on the amendment?
Yes, Mr. Chair, could someone put it up on the screen? So we could see what it is. Thank you.
Mr. Ward, can you put it up on the screen? In the meantime, I'll go to Commissioner Ginjal. Commissioner Ginjal, on the amendment?
Yeah, we'll have a question on the budget amendment, which goes to the resolution. So the amendment is actually asking us to authorize $260,000 of CARES money, which is really taxpayer money, to put in I guess for lack of a better word, a system within a hospital, a private hospital. Is that right?
Correct. I mean, the overall proposal, this is technology to improve frontline workers, communications, and patient care at McLaren, in which they've also secured a significant amount of private dollars to help pay for this.
Just that follow-up then, is there any issue or concern about this setting a precedent for private companies, other hospitals to come and ask us to use taxpayer money to put systems or other amenities into their buildings? I mean, is there a reason why McLaren can't pay for this themselves?
I think this aligns with steps that we're taking to maximize the impact of our CARES dollars to protect frontline healthcare workers. It's an appropriate expense, and we have reached out to all of our hospital systems on identifying ways that we can partner with. So I think we have the ability to consider any proposal that comes before us. Any further discussion on the budget amendment?
Hey, Davis, Mike, I do have a couple questions also.
Commissioner Spiz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can someone please explain how this helps frontline, or protects, let me put it that way, as the title says, frontline workers? Because I think it's a good tool, and I am always for technology, but I don't understand how it protects frontline workers. It improves efficiency, yes. And that's where I have an issue. Second question would be, has this been run through our outside advisor to the CARES Act funds?
Mr. Ward, I mean, can you answer Commissioner Spiz's question?
I'll answer the second question first. There's a provision in the resolution that makes this your approval contingent upon their review. Generally speaking, the board staff doesn't have access to Pierce Monroe Guidehouse. So when the resolutions are initiated on our side, we're a little bit constrained in our ability to get prior authorization. On your first question, this is a project that had been coincidentally piloted and started its launch, I believe, in March. It turned out to be a fortuitous coincidence because it's been very helpful, as I understand, with the, their COVID impact and as the hospitals reacted. And it is a touchless communication system. And so the normal work that the healthcare workers are doing, the doctors, the nurses, the techs that are coming into the room that, might be typed into a computer and done through paperwork as they're communicating about a patient's well-being and their care is now being handled through this system. Now that is a very low-tech explanation of a high-tech piece of equipment.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Commissioner Taub, I got up next.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a couple of questions. The first one is, which McLaren hospital is this going into?
For the resolution, Pontiac.
Okay, thank you. And that, I believe, is a teaching hospital, am I not correct? And as a teaching hospital, they are teaching students in public medical schools and schools of nursing that are also public. Are we allowed to fund that? We can't put drinking fountains into private schools. I mean, this is very confusing. I think it's a wonderful system.
McLaren Pontiac is a nonprofit entity. We partner with nonprofit entities all the time, perfectly appropriate to do so.
Okay, well, I'd like to know what the other hospitals, are they using this as well? Would they like a grant as well?
I know our staff has been reaching out to hospitals looking for partner opportunities to protect frontline healthcare workers and do everything we possibly can to best respond to the COVID pandemic.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Dave, I have another one.
Commissioner, I got Commissioner Kowal for the first time, followed by Commissioner Spiz for a second time. Commissioner Kowal.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm on the side of, I guess, more on the side of supporting this. We have for sure, haven't we secured a lot of PPE and whatnot for hospitals and any kind of first responders? And then, we're using CARES Act funding to help businesses and to help anybody out that's in their private businesses that have been impacted by COVID. And the fact that they were able to leverage some other funding towards this, I think is also a good thing. So I guess that's my thought on the whole thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kowal. Commissioner Spids for a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a motion to set aside, please.
Support.
Can I discuss why, Mr. Chair?
You're muted, Dave.
Yeah, I don't believe, I mean, a motion to set aside, I don't believe is a debatable motion.
I was just going to give rationale of my thought process. Not necessarily debate it.
All right, well, it's like, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on tabling the resolution.
I'm sorry, who seconded the motion?
Commissioner Middleton.
Thank you. Okay, this amendment to set it aside, Commissioners Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
The teachers are essential workers and they're essential to our.
No.
Okendorfer,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
No.
If you're not speaking, could you please go on mute?
Markham,
No.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
No.
Nelson,
No.
Powell,
No.
Quarles,
No.
Biz,
Mike?
Yeah.
Commissioner Spids.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
yeah, I got you as a yes, thank you. Todd,
Yes.
Whitebird,
Yes.
Woodward,
No.
Zach,
No.
Gershenson,
No.
Angel,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 11 yeas, 10 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The motion is set aside. That brings us on to the next item on the agenda. Commissioner Gershenson. Commissioner Gershenson, are you connected?
Looks like she's frozen.
All right, well, Commissioner Gershenson, are you there? We hear, it looks like you're.
I'm
Okay,
frozen,
we can
so
hear
I'm
you
trying
now.
to get on
We can hear
another.
you now. We can hear you now. Okay. Can you take action on item E
Okay.
under the pandemic? Yep.
Yes, Sorry about that. Miscellaneous Resolution 20261, Board of Commissioners, Oakland Together, Safe for School Hotline in partnership with Beaumont Health.
Commissioner Gershenson moves moves the report, seconded by Commissioner Zach. All in favor of accepting the report, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. The report is received unanimously, and that brings us to the main motion, moved by Commissioner Gershenson, seconded by Commissioner Taub. And I believe we have two amendments on this one. We need to first move, Commissioner Gershenson moves the budget amendment, seconded by Commissioner Miller. Any discussion on the budget amendment? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the budget amendment. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll on the budget amendment?
Looks like maybe she's frozen.
And we'll just wait a second here.
Her lips are moving.
Madam Clerk, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
No.
Can you maybe mute and then unmute yourself? Like mute, mute and then unmute. Okay. We still cannot hear you. Okay. Let's see if we can get, can you dial in? You stay on camera, just dial in so that we can, we just don't have any sound from you. We're getting ready to call the roll.
Take off your picture. Take off the camera.
I can probably move, well, how about this? Instead of calling the roll, all in favor of adopting the budget amendment, say aye.
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 Opposed, say
Aye.
nay. Let the record reflect that the budget amendment has been adopted unanimously. There we go. And then we'll figure out a way to get Clerk's Brown's sound back on. And now we have a second amendment. I'll recognize Commissioner Taub.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you know, I had some concerns when this came to.
Now that,
1 second with that. I gotta do something. I'm gonna fix this. We have to have
I had some concerns when this came to committee because I felt that the board would not want to leave any children out of any type of hotline to check and see if children could go to school. So it was checked through Corp Council, I believe, and I have an amendment that says, now therefore be it resolved that the Oakland County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes the creation of the Oakland Together Safe for School Hotline program in partnership with Beaumont Hospital for the purposes of providing telephone screening of all Oakland County K-12 schools. And I would like to move that amendment.
moved by Commissioner Taub, seconded by Commissioner Lubes. I'll just speak very clearly. I think this is, I think Commissioner Taub's sentiment is exactly correct. We want to make certain like this service can be available for all students. And as long as there's not a barrier as a result of Corporation Council of other things, we should do that. And so I 100% support Commissioner Taub's amendment. Any further discussion? Commissioner Long.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Woodward. I just want to make sure that if we include all schools, will we have to increase the budget a little bit? And we may, I'm not sure.
I could speak to that if you'd like, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Ward. Yeah, Mr. Ward.
I spoke to Beaumont about that today. They were prepared to service all school-age children in that age range. So it doesn't matter whether they were private, parochial, or public school children.
Okay, and that was not to exceed 175,000. Am I right by remembering that?
Yes,
That's the
their,
total.
the original, their proposal was 150. We just added 25 for contingency liability.
All right. Thank you.
Yep, thank you,
One
Commissioner
step
Long.
ahead of me. You're one step ahead of me, Chris Ford.
Just anticipating that. Commissioner Wiper.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We talked about this at committee, and we just weren't so sure about private public schools. But we were assured by the Beaumont representative that they had capacity. And if you think it through, they're going to get phone calls from everybody anyway. And that would be patently unfair to have the screener say, well, what school does your child go to? And then disconnect them. So they're providing a hotline. So I think this is a perfect solution and a perfect amendment. And this was, I wish we could have done it at committee, but I'm glad we're doing it today. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Wiper. Commissioner Taub for a second time on the amendment.
Yes. Oh, not on the amendment, be on the whole, I guess.
All
the
right,
whole
that's
thing.
it. Let's, all in favor of adopting the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Let the record reflect that the amendment's adopted unanimously. That brings us to the main motion on the proposal. Commissioner Taub on the resolution.
Okay, now I had one thought, and I know this sounds selfish, but we are providing this for Oakland County children, but the number will be blasted all over the universe. What happens if someone from Sault Ste. Marie calls in? I'm just making that up, but whatever. How are they going to know that they're only taking care of Oakland County children? Just asking. Or are we going to just open it up?
I
to the
have
whole-
faith that Oakland and Beaumont Hospital can figure that out. Did I
Okay.
hear- I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I think that maybe they need a list of the schools in Oakland County. That would be help by alphabetical. That would be helpful. And their
We
phone.
will supply the school districts and the schools
Yeah.
to Beaumont. Yep, I think that's a good idea. Great. Thank you,
Okay.
Commissioner.
Thank you.
All right. See no further discussion. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the resolution.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Perfect. Yes.
Hey, I don't know why that wasn't working, but okay, as long as we figure out something. All right, Commissioner Jackson,
Yes.
Okendorfer,
Yes,
is that a yes? Sorry.
that's a yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Coon,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Rube,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
Gilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
thank you. Coral,
Yes.
Biz,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Seifert,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Gershenson,
Yes.
Gingell,
Yes.
Hoffman.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voted in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. That brings us to reports of special committees. There is none. That brings us to special order of business. We have a number of commissioners. I'll start with Commissioner Taub. Do you want to give notice for all your resolutions that are on the special order of business?
Yes, I'd like to postpone that till the next meeting. Thank you.
Commissioner Taub gives notice to all of her sponsored resolutions, give notice for the following meeting. Next up, I've got Commissioner Kowal.
Yes, I would like to give notice to postpone to the next board meeting.
Notice received. Commissioner Kokendorfer.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd also like to give notice to postpone.
Notice to propose without objection for the next meeting for consideration of discharge. I believe that covers everybody. That brings us to unfinished business. There is none. Under new and miscellaneous business, we have a few things to be introduced. The first one, I would like to recommend, I don't know who the appropriate sponsor is. 1 second. Technology. Yes, technically, I guess it's me. Right, Commissioner Gershenson moves, seconded by Commissioner Jackson. This is to suspend the rules. This is the amendment to the rules of the Board of Commissioners revision of section 12, sponsorship of resolution authorizing certain projects within commissioner districts. Commissioner Ward sent out a communication. Staff is recommending this to help expedite our meeting so that resolutions can be introduced as under the commissioner's name that represents that district without having to wait an extra meeting to get it into the queue. So all in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, the rules are suspended. And that brings us to the main motion, moved by Commissioner Jackson, seconded by Commissioner Taub. Any discussion? Any discussion on the resolution? Commissioner Taub, followed by Commissioner Gangel. Commissioner Taub.
Yes, could you read it, please? I'm having difficulty finding it because I can't just put my finger on the blue thing and find it.
Certainly. And Mr. Ward, if you can you put it on the screen for everybody? I believe it's on page 230 of the packet, the last page of the packet. I'll read it. It speaks to resolutions on the board floor, a commissioner initiated resolution introduced on the board floor. It's actually under adding a section B. So all the rules are the same, adding a section B, sponsorship of resolutions authorizing certain project within commissioner districts. And specifically it says a resolution authorizing a project of the Tri-Party Road Improvement Program and the local road improvement program, the school drinking water program may be introduced in the name of the commissioner or commissioners representing the geographical area of the project boundaries of the project at the liaison committee of jurisdiction designated by the board. And this is just so that like we've always done before, instead of bringing all those tri-party programs to the tri-party road programs and the local road improvement programs to introduce them and suspend all the rules. And there were about 40 of them, I believe, that we did today. We were able to go through the committee process and adopt them under the consent agenda. So this is to streamline things to make certain that commissioners' names are on the projects that overlap with their respective districts. And they can be introduced into the committee without having to be introduced at a board meeting prior to committee. It's the staff recommendation. I think it will make a lot of sense.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Ward, you can take that down. Thank you. Any further discussion? Commissioner Gingell.
So I'm just reading this. I mean, so what it really says is instead of me coming in introducing a resolution at a meeting, then it going to committee, it can get introduced at a committee meeting and remove that one step. And it's for tri-party improvement, local road improvement, and school water fountains as what the inclusion is for, right? It's not opening it up for any other thing. So, okay, thank you. Very good.
Just those three programs, correct. Commissioner Nelson.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you clarify what you initially talked about in communications in regards to the committee, a new committee being formed?
That's not germane to this motion before us. So can we do that? I mean, after that we take care of this motion?
Oh, absolutely. Sorry.
Okay. Any further discussion on this resolution? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the resolution, Commissioners Kokendorfer,
Yes.
All right, let me call them. I think they closed at 6. Okay.
Hall,
Yes.
Boone,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
everybody else,
If you're not speaking, please go on mute.
a lot of section.
Yes.
Sorry, was that a yes, Lou? Thank you. Okay, Markham,
Yes.
McGilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Worrell,
Yes.
Biz,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Seifert,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Kirshenson,
Yes.
Angel,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. I believe we have a few other resolutions for introduction. I will start with Commissioner Jackson.
I'm going to introduce it is a tri-party, road improvement.
Yep, okay, so Commissioner Jackson introduces a
For the city of
tri-party
South-
resolution for the city of Southfield.
12 Mile Road, from Telegraph to Lasser. Thank you.
We'll refer it to Finance and Infrastructure without objection, and Commissioner McGilvray.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a resolution to support for Senate Bills 596 through 598 and the House Bills 5143 through 5145 to eliminate regulatory roadblocks that prevent the growth of Michigan's residential solar energy market. And I refer to committee.
They're referred to the Health and Public Safety Committee without objection. I believe those are the two that I have. Are there any further resolutions? Quick scan, I don't see anybody. Okay, and that brings us to announcements. Are there any further announcements? Commissioner Nelson?
Yes. I'd like to go back to what I initially said when I was out of the incorrect order. But, Mr. Chair, I'd like to reconsider the vote by which the committee was approved.
You're asking to reconsider the vote in which the communications were received?
The creation of the investigation committee.
The appointment of the committee and the other communications received as a communication. You're asking to reconsider the vote in which it passed? Motion by Commissioner Nelson to reconsider the vote in which the communication passed. Moved by Commissioner Nelson. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Miller. Any discussion? Commissioner Long?
Is she talking about the treasurer committee? Is that the one you're talking about, Kristen?
I believe it's Commissioner, I believe that's the particular thing, forming the special committee for the board to prepare to look at how we are going to settle the most recent Supreme Court case.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Commissioner Gingell, followed by now Commissioner Nelson and Commissioner Miller. Commissioner Gingell.
Yeah, so I'm not trying to debate the motion. I'm just trying to understand it. That committee was formed through communication.
Commissioner Gingell, I think you froze up here.
Yeah, you're frozen.
Yeah, okay, we'll come back to you, Commissioner Gingell. Commissioner Nelson, followed by Commissioner Miller.
Thank you. When is the first time this committee is going to be meeting?
I believe that the committee will plan a meeting next week. It'll be a public meeting so that we can begin the process of identifying what is the full financial liability as a result of the unanimous Supreme Court decision, as well as look at all other policies that we maybe need to consider to address the situation from happening going forward. I mean, for that reason, I mean, Commissioner Nelson, I'm not going to be voting to reconsider the vote. This board has a responsibility. We've got to start doing our work, and we need a mechanism to start doing that work. And working, I mean, not only just working with the treasurer's office, but get a handle on the full scope of what the Raffaele Supreme Court case means for Oakland County, and then steps we can take to make certain that those type of things don't happen in the future.
I understand that, Mr. Chair. I get kind of confused and lost sometimes when things are thrown out at the last moment. Again, this would have been something that I would hope that we would have had a little heads up on prior to our board meeting starting today in regards to the formation of this committee.
Commissioner Miller, followed by Commissioner Long, and then whenever we get Commissioner Gingell back.
Thank you, Chair. I would just ask that we wait till the next board meeting to have a meeting, to have your meeting at like after August 6th. I just ask for that consideration. And I agree with you. We have to do our due diligence, but I feel doing it next week is kind of fast, gives the commissioners an idea to read up on it, look at the ruling, and get an understanding. Maybe we could do a little caucus meeting or a full board meeting, and just to get a little more understanding of what we're doing here. And like I said, I'm not disagreeing that we have to like put it aside. We have to do our due diligence and follow the law. But I just have to ask if you could postpone your meeting till after the next meeting, August 6th. Thank you.
Commissioner Long? I think Commissioner Wiper had his hand up too. Commissioner Long?
Well, Commissioner Zach today we had a presentation, this today or yesterday? We had a presentation in finance, which helped a lot for those of us on finance. And I realize everyone's not on the committee, but we had an update on all this information in finance. And I do believe we need to take action and make sure this doesn't happen again. I mean, it's not going to, but it's a lot of money that we're gonna need to find. So I think the committee is important.
Commissioner, I think Commissioner Gingell is back. Kind of back. Commissioner Wiper, did you have your hands up?
Dave, Commissioner Powell would like to speak to
I will, yeah, Commissioner Powell, I'll get you on the list. Commissioner Wiper?
I see that Commissioner Gingell's back. I was going to try to follow up with what his thought was. Let's see what Commissioner Gingell's thought is.
Okay. Commissioner Gingell? You know, unmute yourself, Commissioner Gingell.
Got it. I mean, my thought is I think it's a significant concern that this board should be taken up and addressing. I mean, there was a letter provided that stated that nature. I think the county, based on these actions, could be at risk. And I think that the committee that's being formed is appropriate. My only question was, what exactly are we voting on? I think the motion to reconsider is a vote on communications.
That is the motion to reconsider. The communications that under the board rules that I formed the special committee was received under communications, and the motion before us is to reconsider the board accepting that communication. And I'm going to be voting no on the motion before us. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Commissioner Kuhn. I'm sorry, Commissioner Kuhn. Commissioner Powell did ask to speak, and so I got Commissioner Powell followed by Commissioner Kuhn.
I just wanted to also bring to attention that yes, we did get debriefed by the attorneys in our finance meeting, but there was a lot of information that they couldn't verify at the moment. So that's why I am in support of Williams Miller's request of a postponement just for that, so that we can have extra time to review all documents and all information in regards to this situation if possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kuhn.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have a simple question. And, you know, my understanding is that the chair has the right to appoint these committees. What difference does it make if we accept the communication or we don't accept it? Can I get any clarification on that, Mr. Chair?
Yes, I mean, it's like, yes, and we'll come back to that question, Commissioner Kuhn. Commissioner Nelson for a second time on reconsidering the communications.
I would just like to clarify that I was seeking just more information on this. I'll withdraw my motion, Mr. Chair. I heard information. It's exactly what I was seeking. But hear me when I say, Mr. Chair, I will withdraw my motion.
Okay. Commissioner Nelson withdraws her motion. I will say that the request and conversation, I will be conferring with our caucus to have a conversation to address those issues that were brought up. To the motion then withdrawn. Okay, it brings us back to the end of the meeting. I don't see any additional things. So
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry to interrupt. Apparently, we skipped right past the suspension list.
I did.
Yeah, we needed to suspend the rules for all those local road improvement programs.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. I mean, that would have been a massive faux pas. You're right. It was under local road improvement program special committee. So let me recommend. Let's go back there. Let's recognize Commissioner Penny Lubes. Commissioner. Commissioner Lubes.
Thank you.
Right,
I
okay.
have three. I have, Clausen would like to remove and replace part of the failed roadway on South Main Street. Royal Oak would like to reconstruct Knoll Street and Chester Road. And Troy would like concrete slab replacement on investment in Bellingham Drive.
Well, Commissioner Lubes, I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to ask for items A through HH. No, excuse me, through I.
The entire, all the items, the 35.
We're going to do all of them. We're going to move to suspend the rules of all of them, so we don't have to go through all 40. So moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Taub to suspend the rules for all of those items. All in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. The rules are suspended for all of those items, and Commissioner Lubes moves, seconded by Commissioner Gingell, to approve resolutions A under the local road improvement program special committee, items A through II. Any discussion on any of those? I think almost every commissioner has projects that are reflected in there, and this is a program that is incredibly popular. It is supporting building now, I think upwards collectively, these are $20 million worth of projects based on the report that staff sent around. So seeing no discussion so that we can get these dollars out the door to our local cities and villages. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On all of those resolutions, Commissioners Kowal,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Lubes,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
Gilvray,
Yes.
Middleton,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Coral,
Yes.
Piz,
Yes.
Cobb,
Yes.
Seibert,
Yes.
Woodward,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Kirshenson,
Yes.
Angel,
Yes.
Hoffman,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Okendorfer,
Yes. Yes.
thank you. It's hard to hear you. Mr. Chair, you have 21 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting affirmative. All of those resolutions are adopted and our local communities can start building those roads. Thank you, Mr. Ward. That would have been a major screw up if we had skipped over that. Okay, seeing no further, announcement of Commissioner Weichler.
I know we just did all those, the email that came from the road commissioners today that added Commissioner Jackson's resolution. Was that included in the one we just did? Because I see it went down to. Or should that
It was
be?
introduced, it's going to go through the committee process. Like in the future, we can just send all of those to the committee process. But that one was already ready to go. So that's why Commissioner Jackson introduced it.
Okay, thank you.
Any further announcements? Madam Clerk, Clerk Brown, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to campaign finance reports are due tomorrow. And also, I think this is our last meeting before the primary election. So just again, my PSA that I've put out there, making sure people use a blue or black ink pen when completing their ballot. Fill in the box next to your choice. Only vote one party in the August primary. Don't forget the nonpartisan section. Make sure you check the back of your ballot. And if you're voting by absentee, make sure you sign the outer envelope. We want to make sure everybody votes.
Thank you, Clerk Brown. Seeing no further announcements, we'll adjourn the meeting to August 6th, 2020 at 5 p.m. or call the chair.